Welcome back to the On the Arts series at Lewis University. My name is Brendan Rook. Today we're talking with Kristen Callahan, who is the Assistant Professor of Art and Design here at Lewis University. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Where are you from originally?
I am from what is now Homer Glen.
Okay.
So right over the bridge.
Oh, it's not too far away.
Nope.
So tell us a little bit about what got you interested in art. Were you like artistic as a child and that kind of developed as you grew up? Or?
Yes. So when I was, I think I've been drawing for my entire life. And so I would always do little sketches, like draw out of books and draw little, cartoon characters or comic strips. And so that sort of got me into art and drawing when I was really little. But I really got into animation.
Okay.
I went to school for animation, and I would classify myself as being an animator, but I'd gotten a book, The Art of Animation, like a Disney thing, and was really fascinated by it and the technology associated with it, and all the stuff that was happening with 3D and all that kind of stuff when I was younger. And so that got me into wanting to study that specifically.
Okay. Where did you study animation?
So I went to Northern Illinois University.
Okay.
And I was I was a time artist. So that was video and animation and web design at the time. From there, I went to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology.
Okay.
And so there I studied 2D and 3D animation. And now I'm currently getting my PhD in
Congratulations.
art. Thank you. In art education, and so
Okay.
I'm taking it another step further.
Oh, good luck to you on that.
Thank you.
Did you have any jobs or internships before you finished your degree that kind of aided in your success?
So when I was an undergraduate, I knew I was going to go to graduate school. My program at Northern focused on a lot of different things, and I wanted to be very specific in learning animation, and so I want to be more directed. So once I graduated undergrad, I had applied to RIT, I had gotten in, and one of the first jobs that I had during that summer between undergrad and grad was working for a magazine. It was called Waterfowler.com. They were a website and a magazine, and so I worked with them. They produced a magazine for people who would go duck hunting. Okay. I know.
We all start somewhere.
Yeah, up in Woodstock, Illinois, and
Okay.
so it was like a really small business, but I was able to work on laying out design for the magazine and also creating things for the website and managing user content and all that kind of thing. So that was my first design job out of school. But then it was in graduate school, I had another 3 more years to just, be a student, which was cool. I had a lot of opportunities during that time period to work with faculty and work with other students to create things, and so that helped me a lot.
Cool. So after you got out of graduate school, how difficult was it to find a job that you liked? And
Yeah, and so that's scary.
yeah.
So graduating, everything, you're used to being in school, you're used to studying, you're used to doing projects and having really tight deadlines, but you don't have to worry about where that's coming from. Your teachers are giving you all of that, and you're somehow being financially supported either through your parents or through loans or through other work that you might be doing. And so upon graduation, it's like, oh, great, I finished this thing, but what do I do now? And so that was really scary. I was dating who was my husband now at that point, and so when we were dating, I'm like, I don't want to leave. I didn't want to go because I was in New York. I didn't want to come back home yet, and so it's like, okay, I got to find a job. What do I do? And so luckily, my network kicked in, and so having a strong network, I think, is probably the best thing that you can do as a designer. But one of the professors, Marla Schweppe, was working with this guy who was developing content for autostereoscopic screens. And so autostereoscopic screens are 3D without the glasses.
Okay. Very
So
cool.
you could see the 3D image sort of popping off the screen
Without wearing any.
Yeah, if you're in a certain range and you can move around it. And so he had contacted Marla and said, I need people to work for me. And so it was my husband, me, and another friend, and we went and worked for them for full time.
Oh, wow.
Didn't have to leave Rochester, and it was a great start. We were all doing what we went to school for, and it was a lot of fun because it was a very small studio. And we got to experiment a lot because it was something that was new for that company as well. And while it was scary, I was just thrilled that I was able to have the opportunity and was given it because of the people I knew.
Tell us a little bit of time as after you were working with that last company to what brought you to the path to being a teacher at Lewis University?
Graduate students have the opportunity to be GAs at Rochester Institute of Technology. And so GA, graduate assistant, you can either work with a professor and do some things to help out with their classes, or you can teach a course. And so I had done both. I worked with a professor to help manage some of the undergraduate students, and then having that experience was able to then go in and teach my own classes. And so being I don't know, I was probably 23, 24. I had my own classes. And so I was teaching video, motion graphics, to people who were similar in age to me and sometimes older than me. And so it was a really weird
Yeah, I
type
can
of
imagine
thing.
it's a different experience.
Yeah, but it was nice because I was able to get a hold of how it is to manage a classroom, and take my knowledge and pass it on to somebody else. And so I worked as an adjunct, and then I taught online and at various places like Northern Illinois, Westwood College, Harold Washington College.
You've been a little bit everywhere.
I've been a lot of places. Yeah, I've taught in a lot of places in a lot of different capacities.
Yeah, I bet you that gives you. Does that give you sort of a different range of your skill set because you've had to teach different areas in the country?
It gives me a different perspective on, I guess, some of the challenges that students have. RIT being a private school to then a community college and a for-profit and then a state school, you have different types of students, and they all have different needs and they all have different struggles that they go through. And so I think it was really a great experience for me to be able to work with those different students and understand that not everyone is coming and learning like I did. They may have less understanding than I did, or they may have more or more ability, or it was. I think it was great just to give me a better perspective now as to dealing with different challenges that students have.
What are the different kinds of workshops and classes that you teach here at Lewis?
So I am design.
Design all the way.
Yes. So art and design, yes, I am in the art and design department, but I teach design exclusively. The other two faculty members, they teach the fine art aspect of things. So I teach the entire design curriculum. So we have intro to computer graphic design, intermediate advanced typography, 3D. I also teach workshops on creativity, as well as I do every year, well, I've only done it 1 year, but I'm hoping to do every year a trip up to Hamilton Type Museum where we do letterpress. And I've also done some workshops on animation as well, so do a lot of things.
Sounds good. I'm interested in taking some of those actually.
Cool.
What is the most challenging aspect about teaching design?
As a professional designer and having all this experience, you have to come into teaching thinking of where the students are at that point in time. And some difficulty arises when you don't consider some of the baby steps you had to take when you first started learning. When I'm trying to teach a student how to work with a program or address a specific design problem, they don't have some of this experience and knowledge that I do. And so it's trying to identify those things and being able to take a step back and do it slower and think about all the things that may not be intuitive to them. Because working as a professional, you develop speed, so much speed,
I can imagine.
that when you start doing stuff on the computer, students are like, "What did you just do?" And it's difficult for them to learn sometimes. And so it's just being really conscious of that, I think. Design is something that's not, there's no rules, okay? And there's guidelines that I can help give them, but a lot of it comes with experience. developing an eye for what looks right, and how something communicates. And so understanding that they have to develop that, and they don't just come to it perfect straight out of the box. So
what's one piece of advice you could give to an aspiring design student or someone trying to get into that field?
a few of the things that I would say is making sure that you are considering the network that you're building now. You are interacting with professors, other students, and other people on campus that all may have connections that can help you in the future. I feel like my network has really helped me in my career to get different positions, to gain freelance work, and really develop myself. By connecting with these other people, they give me insight into what I'm doing, but also, give me opportunities. And so having a network is probably one of the biggest things that you need to start doing now. Be friends with people. And I think our department has a really good culture. They've interact with each other on a daily basis from multiple hours into the night, and I think that is something that's going to help them propel their careers into the future.
Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll be right back with On the Arts at Lewis University.
One of my biggest passions in life is animals. That's why I've worked with Morris Animal Foundation for over 40 years. Morris Animal Foundation is a world leader in helping animals live longer, healthier lives. You can too. Just show your support at morrisanimalfoundation.org.
To help cats, dogs, horses, and wildlife live healthier lives, visit morrisanimalfoundation.org, where we are advancing science that will create a healthier tomorrow for animals.
Hi, my name is Brendan, and today we're sitting down with Kendall Dale, who is an illustration and computer graphic design major at Lewis University. Hello, Kendall.
Howdy.
Where are you from originally, and what brought you here to Illinois?
Originally, I'm from College Station, Texas. Coming up here was a long journey of playing ice hockey. I started playing when I was younger, and then got decently, I guess, good. I played amateur in Minnesota, and then from there, I got recruited by a club team here, and I moved here from Texas and played for 2 years, and I quit, and that's whenever I started an organization here on campus, Red Graphics.
What got you interested in graphic design?
Well, it always been into art and drawing and design overall. I like just goofing around, making stencils of like my principals' faces and spray painting on shirts, just doing fun stuff that was kind of provocative and I could get away with.
So what inspires you when you start a piece of work? What is your inspiration usually?
Emotion. Anything that I really feel or I think I can get a direction with. It kind of all starts with a feeling, and then if I can get the content to match the feeling that I want, then I think it's a good piece of content, or I can produce it correctly, then it's a good piece of content, a good piece of work.
How does your illustration major aid in your graphic design work?
Well, I think of both majors as kind of tools, as well as photography. I mean, I don't have a major in it, but I think all of those skills just come into just being a tool. So if I can talk to clients and show them a visual or a complete thought on a piece of paper or an idea completely rendered out, they can kind of understand what I'm trying to get at or get their goals and ideas down to where they understand that I'm on the same page with them. So it's mainly just kind of they're illustrating their idea or illustrating their passion.
Tell us about the organization you started.
Well, like I had said previously, whenever I quit hockey, I kind of had to refocus, and I realized, oh dang, I'm a junior this year, and I don't have any kind of experience. I have nothing to show clients. I have nothing to show employers that I'm ready to move into the world and start working. So I started talking to some of my other professors, my advisors, Jim Cowan and Kristen Callahan, and they kind of helped me move along with the idea of just starting my own organization. I can get all the experience I want through the departments, other alumni, other student organizations, and I can use all of those people as my own client base to produce work, as well as get other students that are within my major in the exact same situation as I am to get the experience we need.
What was the process like to start your own organization? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was a big learning experience, both in building my confidence as well as just getting the word out. So originally, it was just passing out flyers in the classes, speaking to different graphic design classes besides my own, and just trying to get a group of people to come together to have the same idea or same passion as I did to move forward with it. So we only really had like 8 members to begin with, and that was really difficult. Even though I was only speaking in front of 8 people, I kind of stuttered over my words. It wasn't exactly the most comfortable situation for me, but it put me in those awkward situations so that I'm now more adept to doing it now than I was before. And we have now over 25 members.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Do you have a favorite piece or a piece you're currently working on that you're really enjoying?
So the most current piece is always my favorite piece. It gives me the time to always focus 100% on what I'm working on. That way it keeps the passion flowing, keeps ideas flowing directly into the current piece rather than thinking about things in the past. So the current piece I'm working on right now, it's a 40 by 50 inch canvas. It actually started out just being a little doodle sketch that we did for an exercise in one of our classes. And so with that, you're kind of more or less thinking about ideas and shapes, just content in general, and just going with it, just kind of feeling ideas and just feeling it out, figuring it out, and just drawing ideas literally and figuratively. And so it started out just going into the gallery and just sitting down for an hour and just letting your thoughts spill out onto the page. So I kind of drew whatever I was drawing. I'm sitting up on a cloud because I was on top of a stairwell, and so I felt kind of like higher than everyone at the moment. So I kind of drew, I was on a cloud. I'm just sitting there thinking, just things are coming out. And then it kind of let me guide into my next piece of content I drew on the bottom of this figure sitting on top of a building side with a skyline in the background. And you kind of get the sense of how high up he is. And so far right now, I've got 15 hours into it, and I probably have another 15 to go. So we'll see how it turns out.
Good luck.
Thank you.
What is it like managing your organization? Like, what are some of the day-to-day things you have to get done so other people can get their work done?
It kind of takes a full experience of both being physically there and mentally there. One portion of it, I might just be sending emails throughout the day, receiving emails. In addition to that, going and finding new clients, communicating with other departments, kind of getting the word out who we are while I'm still managing my day-to-day as a student, as a designer, as an art student. And then in addition to that, I'm always just, things are going through the back of my head. Oh, well, what if we do this? What if we do that? Just ideas popping up left and right, just to kind of keep that energy flowing, keep that movement going of what we have started. That's the majority of it. Otherwise, it's just managing teamwork, managing project flow from other team leaders, seeing where everyone's at. So it's almost like I'm running like an agency or something, but it's much, much smaller. And I don't have as much pressure, I guess. So, I mean, it's fun, though.
Okay. How do you think Lewis has prepared you for your life outside of college?
Well, I love Lewis because it's given me the platform and the foundation to be able to start something that I did. I mean, the experience of being here definitely helped. It definitely changed the way I think about things in a way that I can change things if I want to. If I want something to get done, it's just a matter of me doing it. That's it.
What is one piece of advice you would like to give to someone who's inspired?
Having delusional confidence is the key. Not exactly knowing that you can do something, but just saying, I know I can do it, but I just haven't done it yet. So just always be tenacious, always know that you can do it, and never say that you can't do it. Because that's just the easy way out, and you'll never go anywhere.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Natasha Zugris, and we're sitting here today with Jim Cowan, Graphic Design Director and Production Manager, who is also an instructor here at Lewis University. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Mississippi, but I live in Plainfield now.
What was it like growing up in Mississippi?
Growing up in Mississippi was boring to me. Didn't have a lot of opportunity for concerts or things that a lot of kids in the city could do, so I always wanted to live in a bigger town. The differences between the cultures of the South and the North, it's probably more of rural versus city, because I think up here there's some people in smaller towns have similar traits as the people down there in the smaller towns, but more closed-minded, a little bit more fundamentalist when it comes to religion at times. Very friendly down south, but can also kind of be two-faced a little bit. But it's more of a difference between small town versus big town, I think.
What are some interests or hobbies that you acquired as you grew up?
We didn't have computers back then, so graphic design, doing anything on the computer wasn't an option, and I liked playing video games on computers. That was about all we did on computers. So I guess when I was in college and I was taking art classes just for fun, I did take like watercolor class with a Park and Rec type thing, which I enjoyed. We didn't really have art in my high school because it was a very small school. So when I went to college, I was taking art classes just for fun, and kind of got introduced to graphic design, but it wasn't on the computer. I started off in computer science because I thought that might be a good field, and when I found out that you can kind of mix the computer aspect with the art aspect, because as I was getting older in school, computers were starting to come around, I really was interested in that. But unfortunately, I really didn't get experience messing with computers till after I was out of college, and then that's when graphic design kind of kicked in.
What got you interested in arts and graphic design?
I think I was interested originally in art just because it was not computer science. All my classes were like Calculus 3 and Intro to Computer this and programming, and it was just really technical, and I was taking art classes and I was able to use my creative side, and I think that's why I was attracted to it. As a graphic designer working on a computer, you still can be technical, and you still have to know technical aspects similar to what you would need for programming, but at the same time you have that creative side as well, so it was a good fit for me.
And then can you also talk about how you worked in print and then kind of steered your way for a while there?
When I first got out of college, like I said, we didn't have computers. I worked for a printer. It was tough. It was hard, tedious. You would do things on a board and overlays, and you had to get type from a typesetter, and if you told her the wrong width, you'd have to have it redone, and it just took a long time. And I realized I couldn't do this the rest of my life. I signed up for the Peace Corps, and I was assigned to be an art education teacher in Botswana, Africa. And I was going to have to ride a bike to work and wear a suit because it was a former British colony. And I told my boss about it, and I said, I'm turning my notice because I'm going to Botswana. He said, well, just so you know, we're getting computers. We're going to computerize the art department. And I thought, well, maybe this might be worth sticking around for, and I was probably getting cold feet going to Africa for 2 years, and so I didn't go. And we got computers, and it totally changed my job and the whole graphic design field after that, so it's a good choice.
What brought you to Illinois?
I worked at the printer for 5 years in Mississippi, and then I worked for a small ad agency in Mississippi, but there were 2 ad agencies, so there was really no opportunity for me to advance anywhere. So I got married. My wife was from Waukegan, which is north of Chicago, and I really wanted to leave the South. Also for job opportunities, so we decided to kind of split the difference between Mississippi and Waukegan, and we ended up in Champaign. I ended up getting a job working for a company that my ad agency used for color proofs and stuff. I lived in Champaign for a year, and my salary had almost doubled just getting out of Mississippi. Then I had an opportunity to go to Bloomington Normal with the same company. And then about 2 years after that, I got a promotion as director in one of the suburbs of Chicago, and that was another large increase in salary. And so living, up here just gave me so many more opportunities. The North just gave me so many more opportunities. I ended up in downtown Chicago. Just a lot of opportunity that you just don't have down south.
What brought you to Lewis University?
After I worked in the city for a while, I had my second child. I wasn't seeing him much because I was gone so much, the hours and also the commute. And I was looking for something closer. I saw a job here at Lewis as a graphic design director, took the position, and I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to learn some of the business end of being a manager. I really didn't have that business background, so I got my master's in MBA here at Lewis, which was really helpful for me, and then it also allowed me to start teaching. So I started teaching publication design classes, and now I teach an advanced publication design classes. It's been really rewarding, and it's helped me out on the business end of it that I didn't get in a traditional art degree undergrad. One of the things I've learned is I got it from my parents, just the work ethic, and I think that's helped me out the most. Wherever I worked, I always feel like I'm going to give it my all, and I want to please them type thing. So I'm proud of my work ethic. I'm proud of just giving it my all, and I feel like because I do have a decent work ethic, I've been rewarded with promotions and jobs and stuff like that.
What piece of advice would you give college students about choosing the right career path?
Choosing the right career path is difficult. I understand when you're young. I went in computer science because we talked about how the jobs were going to be there and it was great money. So I went into it kind of blind, just because I thought it would help pay my bills. My father was an engineer and didn't like his job, made decent money, but he wasn't happy. So about halfway through college, when I switched my major to art, I did it because I wanted to do something that I liked. And he was concerned, my mother was concerned that I wasn't going to make any money, but you got to do what you like because you spend so much time doing this job for the rest of your life. So my thing would be find something that you really like, that you're passionate about, and it'll work out. I had 2 jobs. I worked at a bowling alley part-time. Well, that's where I met my future wife. So you just never know where life's going to take you, but you do it so much that you want to make sure you're doing something you love.
Thank you, Jim, for joining us. This has been On the Arts at Lewis University.